Welcome back, you guys. You just read the article, Tablet Use May Increase Kids' Temper Tantrums. So, as the author of this article wrote, that when he was in his fours, when he was 4 years old, he sternly turned to his parents and he said, "I don't want to hang out with 2.5s." So, set in context, it means children that are 2 years old and a half, right? 2.5s. So, usually that's when children are going through their temper tantrum age, their terrible twos. And back in the day, it was much easier to just, rattle some toy in front of the kid, give them a snack, some sweets, some candies, and try to pacify those temper tantrums and divert their attention. However, as recent studies have suggested, with the increase of technology, phones, tablets, computers, children have been developing anger issues that keep showing up over time when parents use the tablet to pacify their children and make them calm down. So these days, parents, instead of opting to use like a toy or some candy, they will, when a kid starts throwing a temper tantrum, they'll just put them in front of a tablet. Put some pororo, some,
Baby shark.
Coco melon, Coco melon. And that's what they do. That's all they'll do. They'll just sit in front of these screens and they throw tantrums even when they take it away. So these recent studies have been, basically the gist of it is that they studied cases on 3.5, 4.5, and 5.5-year-olds over a period of time, and it showed that when these children were given tablets when they were throwing their temper tantrums at 3 years old, then they show a lot of anger issues when they're 4 years old. Same for the 4 years old. If they're giving tablets, 5 years old, it manifests and they just have a lot of anger issues. They're not able to process and regulate their emotions because they get this quick fix. And no one is saying parenting what is good and what is wrong. Of course, everyone has their way to handle these situations. Children throwing their temper tantrums is quite annoying. And we can all feel for parents trying to calm down their children, especially let's say in public places where it could affect others. But it is the one thing to think about, that not just tiny humans, but all humans, we need to learn how to regulate our screen time, because we are the generation that is growing up with screens, and we spend so much time on our screen. Even you right now watching this video, it's gonna be we're the problem. You're watching this on a screen and we don't spend time trying to do other things instead of that. And so it's something to think about, and there's going to be more studies and trying to figure out what's the best possible way to deal with this screen time, excess of screen time, especially in younger children, because it affects their development. So with that in mind, do you have any friends or relatives with children in their terrible twos? And if so, how do they behave?
Not currently, but when I was growing up, I had younger cousins, and so I remember the temper tantrums very well. It's like sometimes our family would kind of convene at my grandmother's house, and I remember some of the younger members of our family, they just cry for no reason, and no matter what we would do, we couldn't figure out why they were so upset, and it ended up being the case of using candy to calm them down, like a lollipop or something, or rocking them for a really long time. Yes.
In my case, my family, we don't have young children these days. They're all grown up, and when they were much younger, I wasn't in America to experience that lovely time. But nothing that I heard. My sister, she has 3 kids. I have 2 nieces and 1 nephew. I don't think she ever experienced such a difficult time with her 3 kids. They were quite well behaved, so that's nice. We need to ask her how she did it. Maybe she was using screen time. I don't know. So. Did you, when you were young, did you throw a lot of temper tantrums when you were a kid? And how did your parents respond to that?
I don't remember any kind of temper tantrum ever. In my mind, there's one time that I remember getting very upset for a very irrational reason, and it was because my friend had a chocolate birthday cake, and I don't like chocolate cake, so I was personally offended that my friend had a chocolate birthday cake, and so I was very upset at the party, and my parents were there and they were trying to calm me down, and in the end I got what I wanted because on the way home they brought me like a strawberry cake or something like that. That's the only time that I can remember in my life that I really had like an irrational meltdown. I'm sure that like before my memories have kicked in that I had some period of time where I was having a tantrum, but my parents have never told me any other story apart from that specific.
They've blocked it out of the memory.
Maybe.
They're like, oh, it's like going to war.
But I never had an incident where I was like rolling around on the floor of a grocery store, like kicking and screaming, thankfully.
Yeah.
I hope so. If I did, I'm sorry.
Your mom's watching this. She's like,
sorry, parents. I'm sorry.
As for me, this is how my parents would respond.
Oh, the
chancla. So I was not allowed to have my temper. I was just not allowed to have a temper tantrum. If I did, the chancla would be out. Chancla means like sandal. So, growing up in a Mexican household, you're not allowed to. There would be no candies and there would be no toys. There would just be chanclas throwing at you. So
just whipping through the air.
Yeah.
My mom had a wooden spoon.
Oh,
so if I was ever like causing a fuss during, especially when I grew up, because I would back chat quite a lot. I was definitely worse as a teenager than a toddler, I think. If I was ever giving my mom attitude while she was cooking this warm, wet wooden spoon would just get dunked on my head.
Ouch. Well, maybe that's why we didn't have these temper tantrums.
Maybe we knew there was a weapon involved.
We can't relate.
We were angels.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because we didn't have iPads growing up.
Maybe. See, so these studies, like, they're on
good
to
case
something.
studies.
Yeah. Just more chanclas and more
wooden spoons.
That'll do it. We hope you enjoyed this article, and it makes you think about when you have a child and how will you respond to their temper tantrums. And we hope you use this vocabulary in your day-to-day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Sternly.
Sternly.
Sick.
Sick.
Temper tantrum.
Temper tantrum.
Divert.
Divert.
Gist.
Gist.